Hi everyone, I'm Alex with Stellar Finish Auto Detailing, and today I'm going to go over the rinseless washing procedure with you. Rinseless washes are a great way to maintain your car safely in a quick period of time, and also you don't have to go outside and use a hose. So they're great for people that are restricted with where they can wash their vehicle, whether it be underground parking, in a facility that doesn't have access to running water. All you're going to need is a single bucket full of water, your rinseless washing solution, a wash mitt, and a couple towels, and that's all you're going to need to wash your car. So let's get into it. To start, I'm just going to go over exactly what you're going to need to do your rinseless wash. To start out, we have a regular 5-gallon bucket. It's just full of warm water. I put about 4 gallons of water in this. I don't fill it right to the top. And you're going to have Optimum No Rinse. This is a great brand of rinseless washing solution. There's many other brands out there. This is the one that I recommend just because it's sort of the longest standing name in the rinseless washing game. They have great results with it all over the world, and it's just a fantastic product. It's very inexpensive. You can buy it from most specialty detailing stores across the country or online, so it's quite easy to get a hold of. And what you're going to do is you're going to take 4 of these capfuls for 4 gallons of water, so it's a ½ ounce for every gallon of water. So these are ½ ounces. Just rinse your cap a little bit. And then you're just going to sort of rinse the water around inside. That's going to mix up the solution. So that's all ready to go. I have just a regular medium pile microfiber towel. And then I have my purpose-made drying towel. So this is a really big, fluffy, absorbent microfiber towel that's made for drying the surface of your vehicle without scratching it. And then I have just a generic chenille wash mitt or wash pad or whatever sort of tool you like to use to wash the surface of your vehicle. As long as it's non-scratch and preferably a microfiber composition, you're all good to go. So now that we've got our rinseless washing solution made, I'm going to go over exactly how this wash is safe on your vehicle in comparison to a standard soap and hose wash. The secret to Optimum No Rinse is that it's made with substantive polymers. So what that means is it's got an additive in the solution that will actually encapsulate the dirt on a molecular level. So it'll have a buffer barrier between the dirt particle and your paint as you're washing it. In comparison, a standard soap wash is great, but once the soap wears away, it's just water in the wash mitt touching your paint. So there's never going to be that lubrication needed at every step of the wash. Whereas with a rinseless wash, the polymers are evenly distributed through the water, so each time you're washing a panel, those particles of dirt are going to be removed from the paint safely and encapsulated by those polymers, preventing any scratching. So we're going to get straight into the wash. I'll go over exactly how you're going to do it, step by step. So as I mentioned before, rinseless washes are a fantastic way to wash your vehicle in a variety of situations, whether that be it's raining outside, you have inclement weather where you don't really want to go out and break out the hose and get all cold and wet. You can wash it indoors in your garage. The amount of water used on the vehicle is only a few gallons. It's basically the same as if you were to pull your car inside after a rainstorm and it were to drip dry. That's really all that's going to be left on the surface of the ground, so it's nothing to worry about. You're not going to be flooding your garage out or your parking space by any means. A fantastic option for people that have ceramic coated vehicles, people that have cars that have been waxed or have a sealant on it. It's not going to strip any of those protective coatings off of the surface of the vehicle. They're going to stay on there. It's a very neutral, non-aggressive product, but it safely encapsulates those dirt particles to remove them from the paint, leaving a perfect finish behind every time. Now to start off with our wash, you want to start with the top of the vehicle. The reason being is you want to work your way down from the top. You don't want to work your way from the bottom up. The bottom of the car is usually the dirtiest part because it's closest to the road, so that it has a tendency to be a lot more debris built up on the paint on the lower levels, such as the rockers and the bottom of the doors. So you're going to want to start from the top down, working your way down to the dirtiest spots. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your wash mitt, make sure it's nice and saturated with water. You're just going to give it a nice squeeze just so it's almost dripping. And I've already done the roof of this vehicle. It is a soft top, so we've done that with a special product. But to start off with this door, we're going to start with the top of the window. And just like you're washing any other car, work your way back and forth, light pressure. You're going to go side to side, go lengthwise with the aerodynamic lines of the car. Flip your mitt around to the very bottom here. and then you can see all the dirt that's been removed from the paint. So that's going to go right into our wash bucket. We're just going to agitate it to loosen off any dirt particles. I do have what's called a grit guard in the bottom of this bucket. I'll give you a demonstration of that here. If I can get it. There we go. It's stuck in there. So this is a grit guard that's going to prevent all the sediment from coming back up into the water. This is a pretty inexpensive tool to use in your wash bucket, and it's just going to prevent your mitt from sinking to the bottom where all the grit is, and it also sort of filters the water as you're using it. So highly recommend investing in one of those. It just sits in the bottom there. So now that we've washed this door, the mitt's ready to go for the next panel. But before we move on to the next panel, we're going to take our big microfiber drying towel. We're just going to gently dry the surface of the vehicle. Not putting any pressure, we're going to let the towel absorb all the water here. Microfiber has a tendency to work a little bit better as far as absorbency goes when it's a slightly bit damp. So if you notice that it's streaking from the beginning when it's bone dry, you might just want to give it a little bit of a dip or a rinse in the water and wring it out just so it's touch damp, and then it'll help suck the water up a little bit easier. So as a final step for each panel that I do, I like to take a short pile microfiber towel and just gently rub it across to get rid of any streaking. Your first pass with your microfiber drying towel is going to be more or less a mop up. So you're going to get the majority of the water off, the big beads of water, the big drips. And then you're going to come back with this and just get all the fine little streaking off. And that just gives you a perfectly clean finish. No drips or runs. Get around the door handle here. And we're all set. Now, let's move on to the next panel. So a fantastic benefit to doing a rinseless wash over conventional hose and soap wash is that you're drying and washing each panel individually before you move on to the next part of the car. So you're never worrying about water spots from the sun drying out the water on the vehicle on a sunny day. As with the traditional wash, you're going to wash the entire surface of the car with soap and then go back and dry it after you've hosed it off. Now, dependent on the heat and the weather, you can have portions of the car drying prematurely before you get a chance to properly actually dry them. So by doing a rinseless wash like this and using your drying towel to dry each section only after you've washed it, you're going to completely eliminate any chance of water spotting or premature drying on the panels. So you might be wondering, what are the limitations of a rinseless wash? And the short answer is it's all dependent on the level of dirt on the vehicle. If your vehicle is completely caked with mud or it has a lot of tree debris or rough particles such as sand or other forms of dirt, you might want to hit it with a pressure washer or a hose just to knock any of that off before you start your rinseless washing procedure. That just guarantees that there's no loose dirt or large granules or particles that are going to scratch the surface as you're washing it. So we're going to get into this next panel. It's just repetition. You're doing one panel after another. We're going to wash again from top to bottom. Nice gentle back and forth motions. Right down to the rocker panels. Flip our mitt around, get the clean side. Wash this back quarter. And then back into our wash bucket, agitate the dirt out. And now we're going to dry it. Take our drying towel. The cool thing about Optimum No Rinse is that as you're drying it, the product is still lubricating the surface of the paint. Unlike a soap, once you wash that soap off the vehicle, there's no lubrication between your drying towel or your drying media and the paint once that soap's gone. But because the water droplets still have the polymers of Optimum No Rinse in them, you're actually going to be lubricating the surface right down to the drying step. And there's no residue left over by any of this. It's designed to be completely streak-free. There's not going to be any smearing or smudges if you forget a little bit here or there. So it's a fantastic product for a complete, super user-friendly overall clean of your vehicle. We're going to take our final white towel just to get any light streaking out. And that's it. Simple as that. Repeat around the car from top to bottom. We'll do the wheels next, and I'll go over how to give those a proper clean. And that's it. Super simple. So now we come to the wheels of the vehicle. We've washed the complete body of the vehicle. Now the last step is wash the wheels. Some wheels are going to be too dirty to effectively wash with a rinseless washing solution. So you're going to have to break out the pressure washer, some wash chemicals, or your hose in order to get them properly cleaned if they are in fact too dirty or caked in brake dust. The rinseless washes are great for the body panels of a vehicle. The wheels, they sometimes have a little bit of a limitation with the cleaning power available in the washing solution. But that being said, you can be adventurous and play around with how clean you can get your wheels with the rinseless washing solution, but these aren't too bad on this particular vehicle, so we're going to go over how to wash them step by step. To start out with, I'm just going to use a generic Terry microfiber towel. This is just an all-purpose towel, it's nothing fancy. This is a straight wheel brush. It's made by Wheel Woolies. You don't have to use a specific brand, but this is great for getting into the barrel of the wheel here, the back of the spokes, sort of the lug nut area as well as the caliper. So we're going to use that to clean the more hard to reach areas. We have our bucket here. Just going to dip our Terry towel into the rinseless washing solution. Now we're not going to use our wash pad or wash mitt that we used on the paint. We're going to keep those two separate. We don't want to use our nice delicate paint mitt on the dirty wheels. Keep them separate for contamination reasons. So we're going to take our Terry towel. We got it in our wash bucket. We're just going to wring it out just till it's barely dripping. And we're just going to literally wash each part of the wheel by hand with this little towel. It's going to have the same effectiveness at isolating the dirt particles as it did on the paint with the washing pad. It's just a little bit more tedious washing around the spokes here. Go back into your wash bucket, wring it out. See how far we can reach in here with our hand. Dependent on the wheel design, it can be a little tricky to get everything from the front of the wheel back with your towel, which is why we have our brush handy. We'll do that in a second. Get it behind the spokes here. This wheel's quite open, so it's not too bad to work on here. You can see all the dirt and grime coming off the towel quite easily with this washing procedure. Now we're going to dip our wheel brush in, and just from front to back, you get that inner barrel clean. Rinse again. We'll get around the caliper as well. And you can use any specific brush that you like to use already with this procedure. I just like ones that have a little bit more absorbency. They hold the water a little bit better because we're not using soap suds. It has a tendency to wear away quite quickly if you're using a very open bristle brush. So by using one that's sort of fluffy like this, it holds the rinseless solution a little bit better and allows you a little bit more cleaning time before you got to re-dunk it in your bucket. All right, so now that that's been washed, we're going to take, again, another standard microfiber towel. And just dry it like we did with the paint. You're just going to be rubbing it over the surface, picking up any of those beads of water from all the nooks and crannies of the wheel here. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. You know, there are a couple drips that you can't manage to get. Optimum no rinse isn't going to leave any staining or hazy residue in most cases. going to evaporate quite easily. Another little trick that I like to use for getting the back of the wheel here, we'll wring out our brush, make sure there's no excess water. We'll just wrap it around our towel. We'll go right to the back of the barrel here and just mop up all that loose water back there, got behind the spokes. Dry the caliper. Now for the last step, just wring out your original washing towel and give the tire just a light scrub here. If you have old tire dressing, it might not come off as well on its own. Just with the rinsing solution here, you might have to use a little bit of a degreaser to get that off. That would be a step you do before you go into the full wheel. This wheel doesn't have any tire dressing on it, so it's just pure rubber, so we didn't have to worry about that. And we'll just give it a light dry. Pick up any water that got onto the spoke area. And that is how you properly do a rinseless wash on your wheels. So now that we've gone over the complete rinseless washing procedure for your vehicle, starting with the body and finishing with the wheels, we hope that you feel confident to leave the hose behind and do a safe rinseless washing procedure on your own. If there's any questions that we weren't able to answer in this video, please reach out to us anytime through either social media at Stellar Finish Auto Detailing, via email info@stellarfinishautodetailing.com, or reach out to us by phone. We'd love to talk to you, 250-896-2539. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.